guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of my recap of Happily Ever After, 90 Day Fiancé, whatever this is, blah, 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 blah. I'm over it! Welcome to another episode of my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. This is season 4, episode 11, Kicked to the Curb. I don't know, let's jump into this episode. The first couple that we're going to talk about is Russ and Pao, and Pati. So we start off with Gladys, who is Pao's mother, and Pao in the bedroom holding little Axel. Pao is feeding Axel at certain times, burping him at other times. We also find out that Russ's mother, Pati, is coming to Miami to meet Axel. It has been 3 weeks and Mama Russ cannot wait to get to Miami. So this is the first time that they've come to the house to visit Russ and Pao. Pao tells Russ that she doesn't want Patty to think that Patty can be holding her baby at all times. There's going to be a limit. She's a new mom, Axel is her baby, and she's just kind of uncomfortable with Pati holding little Axel. And it's crazy. I mean, even her mother Gladys says, you know what, it's crazy for you to say that this grandmother cannot hold her grandchild. It's insane. Russ feels the same way. Nobody can break through to Pao. So Russ leaves because he doesn't want to have this argument, but he also doesn't agree to tell his mother to back down, right? He's just like, I'm going to actually encourage my mother to stand up and want to take Axel from Pao, which I thought is undermining and crazy because you're only going to cause drama. But apparently Russ does not care. Oh, you guys, I got a fan. Thank God. Whew, girl, she's been sweating. So Russ goes off to get his mom. Pao tells her mother Gladys like why she doesn't want Pati to touch Axel. And the reason why is because she says that they didn't accept her and they thought that she was just in the US in the beginning using Russ or whatever, and that they're very conservative and they're very Christian, and Pao wasn't all the things that they wanted her to be. And so Gladys had no idea because Pao never told her family the problems that she was having with Russ and his family. So, and you know, when we met, when I first met, because I didn't watch season 1, so I didn't witness any of this, but when we met Patty and the dad, Patty admits that she didn't trust Pao in the beginning and she had a hard time dealing with Pao. And again, I think that's Russ's fault. Like, Russ shouldn't have moved Pao into his family home if it was going to be a problem with her showing too much skin. After Pao tells her mother Gladys about Pati and the behavior when she lived in Oklahoma City, Gladys is like, I wanted to actually talk to Patty about that. Like, I want to confront her and ask her like why she treated my daughter that way, because that's horrible and very ugly. And Pao agrees, and she feels like she staunchly has her mother on her side. Russ, meanwhile, picks up his mom from the airport and is driving back to the house and tells his mother that Pao doesn't want her really holding the baby. He doesn't even try to smooth it over in a way that makes any sense. And the only reason I know that is because for some reason I have on my DVR or on demand episode 12, which is next week's episode, but it's only 45 minutes of it. So I started watching it because I didn't know what it was, and now I realize what it is. And I stopped watching it, so I have a little bit of inside tea. But from the conversation that I saw of Russ having with his mom in the car, it feels like Russ is gearing his mother up for battle, and it's just really unnecessary. He needed to spin it in a way that was conducive and supported his wife's decision and, you know, placated his mother. But of course he didn't. He was like, yeah, she doesn't want you holding the baby. It's just whatever. Anyway, so I'll talk about more of that in next episode. All right, so let's move on to the next couple. The next couple that we're going to talk about is Libby and Andrei. So we pick up with Libby in the hospital. She has been in labor for 16 hours. She's in pain. She called her mother when she was on the way to hospital and told her mother that she didn't want her in the room and it was only going to be Andrei and Libby. And the mother is very upset. She like started to cry. She went to Becky's house, talked to Becky and Jen, and both Becky and Jen are like, oh, that's Andrei. That's Andrei's doing. Andrei is the one who's doing this. I'm sure Libby wants you there, but Andrei is so controlling, he won't let her. And the truth is that it was Andrei's idea, but Libby absolutely went with it. I mean, she could have absolutely made a case for her mother to be in the room. Turns out, 3 a.m., they call the mom because Libby is in so much pain and she wants her mom, and Andrei says, okay. And mom puts on her clothes and she gets to the hospital and she's there to see her granddaughter Eleanor being born. And everyone's just so in love with Eleanor. They say she looks like Andrei and that she's very hairy. By the time Jen and Becky get there, Andrei's like in the corner holding her because Andrei's in love with his daughter, and he allows Becky and Jen to hold the baby. They have a couple questions and it seems like they're going to start some drama, but they choose not to, and they all have jokes and it's a good time. So I felt real good about that exchange and it's great. The next evening they leave and Andrei is driving too fast for new mom Libby. Libby's upset because it's a shitty car seat because he didn't get a car seat in time. And Andrei's like, look, look, we have to work with what we have. And I agree. Like, Libby wants a certain lifestyle, which I understand that that is what she wants. But at the same time, if her husband can only afford Walmart, she's gonna have to let go of Target. You feel me? And she doesn't want to let go of that. So Andrei is a little rude. He's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm driving, okay? I drive better than you. And Libby's like, it's not about your driving better. It's about you driving fast. And at some point he hits a speed bump too rough. It scares Eleanor. She starts to cry. And Libby's like, Andrei, please, for Eleanor, for our baby, slow down. And I don't know if he does, but he doesn't have any more back talk. So I'm happy about that. They get into the house. Andrei's dad is there waiting to hold his granddaughter. Oh, he kisses Libby. He's so sweet to her. He holds the baby. Oh, he feels like it's so precious. It's just such a really good moment. And Andrei is so happy that his father got to be there to meet his newest granddaughter, and that Andrei gets to share this moment with his dad. Finally, he has family in the US that's there to support him. So it's a really good segment. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Pedro and Chantal. Girl, just when I thought that they were going back to being, I mean, I guess I've never really seen them as normal, because every time I've watched them, it's been some drama with her family, but it felt like they had made up. So they decided to go to this resort beach area that's outside of Santo Domingo, which is where Chantal and Pedro first hung out, the first place they had sex. They're both really excited. He's kind of juvenile when he's like in front of the camera doing this. And I was like, okay, Pedro, we get it. We get it. And he tells her, you know, that's the first time that we boom. And she starts to giggle. So they're in this cab. They're on their way there, and it's a beautiful time. Chantal's wearing this really beautiful bathing suit. They have some great aerial drone shots of them playing on the beach and hanging out. It's very like Bachelor in Paradise, you know what I'm saying? It was giving me the Bachelorette feel. He's there in like some white pants walking on the beach, and he's got some like combination like Speedo pants things that he's in the water with that are like see-through. I'm like, who made those pants? I think I should be the new fashion for men's swimwear. I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed them on the beach, just looking young and cute and in love. So they have, you know, a really good weekend there. They feel like they've connected with each other. She calls him out on who the person was in the video that he was dancing with. And he tries to say that it was a college friend and that's it. But Chantal, she smells a lie and she says, you know what? I don't think that that was a college friend. She says that she would have recognized the college friend and she thinks that that was one of Nicole's friend. And he looks, and then he decides to tell the truth and he says yes. And she's like, well, why did you lie to me? And he says, because I didn't want you to think that it was anything more than what it was, but you're right. And I'm sorry I lied. It was one of Nicole's friends, but nothing happened. He gets down on his knees. He kisses her hand. And I'm like, she forgives him. I forgive him. We all forgive Pedro. You know, it was a shitty thing to do. He fucked up. And he apologized and they had a really good weekend. And she says that she felt like it was old times again. And I was just so happy for them. So then they're both in the van going back to Santo Domingo. She looks good. He looks good. She's giving me good wavy bundles. You know what I'm saying? She's got a braid going back. Chantal just looks really good. You know, the Dominican Republic suits her. So she tells him that she's really nervous about having a meeting with his family because Pedro says that you need to make up with my family. We need to have a conversation with them. We need to set some boundaries and some ground rules. And I think that we should be a team. And Chantal agrees, so that they're going to go and handle their family together regardless. It doesn't matter if Chantal thinks her family's right. It doesn't matter if he thinks his family's right. When they're together, they're going to be a team and they're going to defend each other. And so I'm thinking they're going to go into this meeting like eyes open, ready to go. So we get to the meeting. Nicole and Lydia are already there seated. Chantal and Pedro walk up. Chantal has on a cute outfit and some cute sunglasses and she sits down and it's left up to Pedro to interpret. And this is where I was like, oh, I wish that they had that interpreter come back because now shit is gonna go left. And it absolutely did. So they sat down and at first Chantal says that she's sorry for all the things that have happened, but that she's really wants to work on the relationship with Pedro and that this is an unfortunate, you know, series of events. And Pedro translates for her and he's with it. And then at some point they start to talk about the man of the house and all that stuff and how Pedro needs to run the house and they feel like Chantal tells Pedro what to do, which is why he's unhappy. And Pedro says he doesn't even translate this to his mother, to Chantal. He says it to his mother. He's like, look, I know I'm the man and I'm supposed to be man of the house, but I'm not going to be sexist. Like Chantal has a say too. And then he relays that to Chantal and then Chantal is just like, I don't know, something switches in her and all of a sudden she goes back to being that smug, rude person and she's like, You can have opinions about what you think about our relationship, but that doesn't mean that you're entitled to say those opinions. Keep those opinions to yourself. Like, that's so in essence what she said is everyone's entitled to your opinion, but you don't have to say your opinion. So that is what she said, right? He hears it differently and then translates it differently. Like, he doesn't understand that what she's saying is right, but also like unrealistic, but it's still right. And I don't think that what she said was rude. And then he says, why would you say that, baby? You know that that's just going to start problems. And she's like, I didn't say anything rude, just translate it. But she also said it with that stupid smug smile on her face. And so he says, everyone has their opinions and they're entitled to it, but you should shut it. And I'm like, that's not what she said, Pedro. Okay? So that started drama. And so then Lydia and Nicole are all of a sudden on the defense. They're saying that Pedro didn't have any problems until she got into his life, and that, you know, she doesn't defend him against his family. And Lydia is like, you know, that's my son. I'm going to support him. And then Pedro's just kind of being an interpreter back and forth, because at this time he's annoyed with Chantal because of that statement that she made. It doesn't leave with the best note, but they leave together, and he says he's going back to the United States and he's going to work on his wife and his relationship. And Lydia says, whatever you choose to do, I will support you, but I will say the things that I think are necessary to say to defend you because you are my son. Here's what I have to say, because I was noticing this, and I have been noticing this since the last 3 times that we saw Lydia on camera. Does she use bleaching cream? Because there is something really wrong with her skin tone. Like, it's like, at first I thought she was just using gray, like, foundation. Like, maybe the DR is still very racist and they don't have foundations that match, you know, deeper skin tones. But then I was like, she is of that generation. And I was looking at Nicole and I was like, Nicole doesn't look like she bleaches, but Lydia looks like something is up. Now, I could be absolutely wrong, but this is just me looking at her being like, what is wrong? Like, is her hair color wrong? Like, what am I seeing? I'm seeing something that looks weird on her. I just hope she isn't damaging herself, I mean, with bleaching products, or maybe she owns a product that has bleaching in it and she's not aware of it, but I hope that's not the case. And I'm not trying to start a campaign saying that she's bleaching her skin. It just looks weird. No? Am I the only person who notices it? Let me know if you've noticed it down below. All right, so that's the end of that segment. I mean, it was so beautiful, and then Chantal cannot help but be smug and rude to his family. And Lydia was absolutely right when she says that Chantal needs to respect her, because Chantal doesn't respect her. She doesn't. And I don't think that there's any reason why Chantal shouldn't at least put on a brave face and be decent, because Pedro isn't like that to her family. He just doesn't say anything, at least before the fight. So that's my opinion on that. All right. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Larissa and Colty, girl. Oh, Debbie has had it. She has had it with that smug, shallow bitch Larissa, girl. And I'm just like, y'all are doing the absolute most. It does not take much for Debbie and Colt to feel like someone is being extra or loud or rude. And so basically what happens is they're in the car, because while Larissa still isn't really talking to Debbie and Colt, she needs to be driven around places, and Colt asks Debbie to drive Larissa to the store. So Larissa still hasn't actually told them what happened with her case. Colt found it out because he looked it up on the internet, and that's how he knows that her case was dismissed. So her case was dismissed. So she's still mad at them because she doesn't know what Colt told the police, and she feels like that is the reason why she got arrested the second time. So they're on their way to wherever store they're going to, and Larissa says that Debbie is passive-aggressive-y. And the reason why she's passive-aggressive is because she slams door. Now, in my house, slamming a door is considered rude. And it's the same thing in Larissa's home. Like, you don't slam doors. And from Larissa's perspective, Debbie is slamming doors, and Debbie says that she's not slamming doors. So I can only believe that if Debbie says she's not slamming doors, I can believe that, right? So Debbie says that there's nothing wrong. She's not being passive-aggressive. She doesn't know what Larissa is talking about. And Larissa's like, you're mad about something. You were slamming doors, so just say what you're mad about and stop being passive-aggressive. Debbie gets very upset, starts to yell, and says, I'm not mad. If I was mad, I would tell you that I was mad, and you're just this and that. And Larissa's like, okay, Debbie, don't talk to me. And Debbie just like freaks out, calls her names, then gets out of the car and tells production that she is no longer going to be driving in the car with Larissa, and she doesn't want Larissa there, and she's going home. So get that bitch out of the car. And that's it. So production ends up picking up Larissa. Larissa gets in the car. She's texting who? I don't know. Who is Larissa texting? She says that Larissa is only ever on her phone, looking in the mirror. And Larissa says, look, I'm sorry that I don't look like Angelina Jolie every day and I don't wake up feeling beautiful. Some days I don't wake up feeling beautiful. So I think they're just having like a disagreement with how someone should be or how much someone should look in the mirror. And I'm like, Debbie, just because you don't care about the way you look doesn't mean that other people don't. And also, your son went to Brazil to find a woman who looked like her for a reason. So that's on him, not on her. So production picks her up, takes her home. She's just like talking about how passive aggressive Debbie is and how rude she is about slamming these doors and how culturally it's different in her life and blah, 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 blah. They get back to the house and Colty's there. Colty has just come home from work. I don't know if he got picked up by Debbie. I'm not sure how he got home, but he got home and she's like, your mother started yelling at me and calling me a bitch and I need you to go up there and talk to her. And Colt's like, well, what did you do to my mother? And Larissa's like, it doesn't matter. I need you to go and defend me and go tell her, you know, that what she did was wrong. And Colt is like, well, you are a bit of a diva. And then it's just like, oh my God, Colt, that's so beside the point. Go defend your wife. If she's feeling some kind of way, go get the other side of the story. Like, talk to your mom, talk to your wife. This is what you should be doing, is mediating, because you decided to move two women who take care of your ass into the same house. So go figure it out for your wife. She gets upset because Colty starts making excuses for Debbie and she flies off the handle. She starts to call him all kinds of names that has definitely taken it too far. I don't know if she's called him these names before, but on camera she hasn't, or they haven't showed it, because girl, she calls him a fat pig. She tells him that he's dirty, all this stuff that we knew, you know what I'm saying, but we didn't say out loud, and she is now saying it all out loud. He goes, he gets a bottle of Jack and he chugs like, looks like what, 2 shots worth of alcohol, and then puts the empty bottle back in the cabinet, and I'm just like, what the hell? Throw that shit away. Larissa gets upset and she goes outside to sit down for a little bit, and she calls him a fat pig before she exits the room. She also accuses him of sleeping with his mother and says, you know what, if that's what you want to do, if she's your lover, she's your wife, go be with her. And so she leaves the house and she like, F you, you asshole. She is cussing up a storm, okay? So I took a little excerpt from next week's episode and I'm gonna put it in this video for you guys because I feel like it is so Shady McGrady, okay? Take a moment and watch this scene.
You feel better?
Shut up. Now you can go there and talk to your mother?
Oh my God. Do you feel happy right now?
How do you feel? You will all mother because you act like she's a lover.
That's ridiculous.
So you don't think that you should just stand by my side?
Do you stand by mine?
What I do for you, you dirty piggy? Your room was a mess, dirty. I came in here, I clean everything. You think that's your house like this? Why? Because I come here and I clean all your. You don't think that a woman that does it deserve a little respect?
Why don't you respect me? Look, you've done nothing but insult me since I got home.
Respect you how? Like, what does he need respect for? Like, she's like, you never defend me. And he's like, you never defend me. I'm like, against what? What does she need to do? Like, what is happening to where you feel it's not like you have to deal with her family? Respect what? Of course you had to pay all this money for her and her lawyer's fees and all that stuff because she's your wife. You brought a foreigner to the US. You are responsible for them. And then you called the police on her. Yes, yes. You took her phone. Yes, you have done all these things that has contributed to her being as crazy as she is. Of course you have to pay for those things. Next time you should get yourself a little nerdy American who isn't gonna want anything and only shop at Walmart. At some point it's hard to watch because it's just like really disrespectful. Oof, that's hard. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. There was no Azan and Nicole because obviously their storyline isn't actually going anywhere. It's not like she's going to Morocco. May needs to start school. Like, I don't think anything interesting is gonna happen in their storyline, but hopefully it does, because they're pretty entertaining. All right, you guys, so please, let's have a kiki and a conversation down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, go on ahead and subscribe. I am sitting at 29K subscribers, and I just need to get to 30K. I deserve 30K subscribers. Don't you agree? All right, so have a fantastic week, you guys. I will see you on Monday for Tuesday. Yeah, I will see you on Tuesday for Love After Lockup the other way. What? 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Girl, she is tired. Don't forget to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.